Welcome back to the Jeremiah Show. My special guest today, Marta Grumberg. We're learning about how to run your restaurant from a financial standpoint, from a financial, the financial side, which, as you know, probably you can imagine that if you don't have that right, if you don't have your financial foundation set throughout the restaurant and all the different departments, you're setting yourself up for failure. You're setting yourself up for financial disaster. And we don't want to see that happen to you. Marta Grumberg loves her clients and she is in constant communication, watching and analyzing their books and giving them good advice to keep their restaurant business not only open, but thriving. You can find her on grumbergaccounting.com, on LinkedIn at Marta Grumberg, on Instagram at Grumberg underscore accounting, Grumberg spelled Grumberg, and on Facebook, Grumberg Accounting. You can call them at 704-298-6144 and get a consultation, right, Marta?
Yeah, yeah, consultation for free, and I'll be happy to share my knowledge and review your books. And first month is free.
Wow. You can email Marta at info@grumbergaccounting.com. All right. So we've talked about a lot of good stuff here um, up till now. So, Marta, what are some of the factors that can increase your success in a restaurant? Um, what are the things that you go after right away or that you advise?
So, of course, I advise the regular stuff is watching your expenses, make sure your ratio is good, make sure you break even, make sure you're profitable. But recently, I noticed that people are very interested in integration and software and bringing AI
Hmm.
to make sure it helps your procedures, it helps with operations, and there's so many softwares in the market. I think all the owners and all the managers get at least one call a day from promoters trying to sell them inventories. They're promising a lot, and it's a great tool. I only say, and I help my clients. We help and we discuss and we review, and I go with them into the selling meetings just to raise the questions and make sure we ask the right questions because they sell you something that they promise that it will be, but it's not always like that. It's a great tool. You just to make sure you choose the correct one. You
Yeah.
choose the one that helps you and brings you some benefits from the money you sell, like the inventory softwares. It's awesome. It's great. It's an hour presentation. How beautiful is that? They just forget that you need to have somebody to run all of it and
Yeah.
during the whole day to input that data because garbage in, garbage out, and then the conclusion is even more garbage than the data you receive because it
Yeah.
promises you that it will have conclusions and it will help you. But on the other hand, if you get something that is not so complicated and takes only, let's say, 30 minutes of your time a day, it's worth it. And if you know that you need to see that it might be not very accurate like they promise you. So it's very important to choose the right software, some operation softwares for restaurants that promise you to put everything together. It's also a great tool, but you need to make sure you choose the correct one. If you choose this huge company that charge you a month more than your profit, then you don't need them. You can maybe buy something smaller or get just part of their service. So it's very important to make sure you integrate. It's a great tool. It's very successful on the analytic part. It gives you lots of data, big data, but it's important to choose wisely which software you integrate into your operation. It's something that it's very now everybody reviews that everybody change. Sometimes I have clients that like they're changing so much from one system to other system to the third system, but in the end of the day we need to make sure they're happy with the system and we have it all working out and it's all reconciled and working together with the payroll system, with the operation system, and with the software system at the end of the day.
Yeah. A lot
Part
of
of what
things
I
to
do every day.
consider.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. A lot of things to consider when you're buying expensive software and hardware. I love your Instagram page. Really clean and has some great tips on there. one or two that stood out to me, I thought maybe you could talk about. Would you recommend cost control tips? What are some cost control tips that you recommend that your clients set up to manage their costs?
Cost control tips. Well, review your books. Review. Don't ignore my emails. Number one. Don't ignore emails from your accountant, even if it's annoying and a little bit not so fascinating like the other stuff. Review your numbers. Make sure you get into the 30, 30, 30, at least into 30, 30, 30. Don't go lower. Don't make sure you're profitable. Review your reports and margins. Review your vendors. It's very important because vendors increase their prices. It's very important also when you run your AP to make sure you review the bills, because sometimes you have double bills, sometimes the statement includes the previous bill that you already paid. They never remember to apply your credits, of course.
Right,
So
of
you need to
course
make
not.
sure of course not, yeah. You need to make sure you have somebody to review it and be very, very, very careful with that. I also say it's also important to review your operation and make sure you're on time. With restaurants, for example, the liquor license is very crucial. And in some states, it's very easy to get it suspended or even lose it. You are not allowed to be late with your bills. You're not allowed to miss any bills. So it's a lot of responsibility. It's very important to stay on top of it. That's also kind of cost, because if you lose it, it costs you so much to get
Yeah.
it back. It's very expensive. Um, what else? Payroll. I know I already say that, but it's a painful part for me. It's something that is very hard to explain because owners and managers, they get attached with the team, and it's a very hard to decision to downsize the team and make some changes. But payroll is 30% usually of the expense. It's one of the largest expenses of your business, the labor, and you have to watch it and review it constantly.
I used to compare it to like mercury on a table, like in science class, and it moves and it's just constantly, you think you get it in one spot and then it just moves to another and
Yes.
grows. Or like
Yeah.
that whack-a-mole game at the fair, where you get the mole in one spot and labor pops up in another. Labor is
Yeah.
hard to control. It's very hard to control,
It's very
for
hard to
sure.
control. Yes.
So inventory is another big one. Do you have some inventory tips for the listeners, restaurant owners out there?
Well, yeah, inventory is a big deal for restaurants. Everybody talks about it. I mentioned already the softwares, which are very helpful. You just need to choose carefully and wisely. You need to make sure you make it as easy as possible, as simple as possible, because if it's too hard to count your inventory, your chef won't do that. He wouldn't do that, and it will cost you more. I've seen people that run inventory count weekly. I've seen people that did that monthly. It depends on the business type and on your labor, on the people that you have. Sometimes the labor cost to run it weekly can be too much for you, so run it monthly, but don't forget to do that. It's important. And remember that it won't be 100% accurate. It's just impossible. You cannot track how much lettuce or how many tomatoes were rotten and your chef threw away during the rush hours. You don't want him to stop and start recording two tomatoes minus or three lettuce are not good. So you need to understand the picture from that and draw conclusions from that. Inventory is very important. One of the most important things in your restaurant, like labor.
Yeah, good advice, good tips there. Okay, so you know what I thought was interesting as I was preparing for this interview, came across a statistic that said that regulars make up to 80% of a restaurant's profits, and your regulars that come in. So I've worked at a lot of restaurants as a server over the years, and they catered to the tourists, but not the regulars. And I always thought that was backwards. So I'm glad this kind of proves that point that, taking care of in the front of the house, those regulars, those people that come in all the time,
Yes,
it helps increase profits as well.
yes,
Okay.
yes, it is.
All right. We're going to take our final break here. We'll be right back. I'm with Marta Grumberg. She's at Grumberg Accounting. You can find her at grumbergaccounting.com. There's a lot on the website that to help you out with your restaurant or your hospitality business, restaurants, bars, catering. It's all there. GrumbergAccounting.com. And follow her on Instagram at Grumberg_accounting. Same for Facebook, but no underscore. You can call them at 704-298-6144 or email her at info@grumbergaccounting.com. We'll be right back.